We're gonna be talking about this Amber Guyger.
Amber Guyger.
Botham Jean. Botham Jean. What piqued my interest on it is when I saw something on the Shade Room about forgiveness. You know, because people like to sit here and say, I will forgive, I wouldn't forgive. Everybody's different. But I do feel like forgiveness is key. It's important. It's important to moving on. It's important to living your life and being free. And for everybody to be so against the brother that he forgave, he's not wrong for doing that. However, just seeing this video just now on him choosing to hug her and him saying, I don't even want you to go to jail, to me is a leap.
That's a bit of a stretch.
Before seeing that video, I had no issue with him saying he chose to forgive her. It's my issue is with the judge and with the bailiff stepping out of professional boundaries to me to go up and stroke her hair and give her a Bible and hug her.
That's completely unprofessional.
Completely unprofessional. But you brought up a couple good points as far as, you know, there's a deeper issue beyond the forgiveness thing. You know, obviously we have a white cop who shot a black dude for no reason. And
well, she says it's because she thought she was in her own apartment.
Even that within itself is very confusing. I don't get that. But you brought up the even bigger point of cops are not trained to de-escalate. They're being trained to either shoot, kill, or come to a situation that de-escalates itself. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. Do I think there may be a little bit of a race issue? Maybe. I don't know.
In this particular instance, or just as part
In
of the agenda
case.
as a whole? Because definitely a part of the agenda as a whole. Like, there has to be some reason that black lives don't matter as much, right?
Absolutely.
But in this particular case,
I guess there is a question of, would she have done that if she saw a white man sitting down on the sofa eating ice cream?
That's a very good
immediately,
question.
as opposed to
that was one of the questions I
black
had.
man.
Like, that's one of those questions that people will say is not a question you can ask, but you can definitely ask that question because it's a very valid question to ask.
It is. The witness, his neighbor, a black dude, being shot and killed
Just recently,
a couple days ago, I think.
Something that really stands out to me is just the whole fact of not wanting to accept a just punishment. But then again, on top of that, it's like she's really just the product of a broken system, still being allowed to produce things. Like,
I have another problem. I have another issue. I have an issue with the judge going from no outbursts in the court to giving her a Bible and hugging her. So they can't choose to cheer for the little bit of justice they did get, but you can go up and give her a Bible and hug her. It don't make no sense. It's very unprofessional. And just for you to be a black judge, that's a slap in the face.
and it's like what she said before she gave it to her was like something along the lines of, you need to have faith, start with this. And she gives her the Bible, and it's like, faith for what? Like, faith in what? Like, the fact that she's gonna get a reduced sentence. Like, I'm confused as to what she's supposed to have faith in. The fact that this is gonna turn out good for her, because, like, well, that's the part that gets me heated. Because why are you trying to defend against the punishment that you deserve?
And then the punishment she did get, 10 years. Let's talk about that.
And plus, they said she's eligible parole after 5, so she's only gonna really serve 5 and probably 3 on good behavior.
And then I saw a video of them saying, of a black chick saying, I guess she was one of the jurors, saying, yeah, like, you know, they were talking about giving her 28 years. She deserved more than that to me, and 28 years is still too much. I just don't get it, and I really, truly do believe that if it was flipped, certain things in this situation were flipped, it would be different. No hugs, no none of that. Very inappropriate. Very inappropriate.
Let's also look at it like this. Let's say it was a black officer that killed a white person thinking it was their apartment. Do you even think this case would have lasted this long? Like, would the police force fight that hard for a black officer? Like,
then, just like we were saying about just even starting this case, the fact that she didn't see that red doormat that wasn't hers before she walked in. It's just so many things that's just, it don't make sense. The first time you accidentally walk in somebody's house, the first thing you don't think to do is to shoot them. I had somebody accidentally sit in my car thinking I was an Uber. Like, it just don't make no sense.
yeah.
You shouldn't, the first thing you shouldn't think to do is to shoot. But I feel like they have a problem with that. Especially when it comes to white cops versus a black suspect. It's just, to me, justice wasn't served.
It's just that you tried to use the defense of, I thought I was in my own home, so I should have been able to stand my ground. Trying to literally argue the fact that she perceived it to be her home gives her the ability to stand her ground. And I'm like, wow. Hold on.
That doesn't make any sense. So you're telling me basically with the Trayvon Martin thing, if it's flipped, if it's your property, but I thought it was my property, you can still shoot? That doesn't make any sense.
How are we going to sit here and say...
of course it is with a black person. They'll find any reason to justify it, though. Any reason to justify that. But that's what I'm saying. If it was flipped, that wouldn't have been the case. They would have put them under the damn jail. Like, under the damn prison.
But you see, like...
What you mean you walked onto this white lady's property and you thought it was yours? First off, it would never be yours to begin with. Crazy.
Once you start trying to... Once you bring perception into... and try to mix it with laws and rules, things get very, like, out of the ordinary. There's no way you could sit here and argue that. Now, another problem with that doctrine is that there's also a mistake of fact clause, which actually says this doctrine is still valid even in the case of if this person reasonably thought that this was their place of residence. Like, so there was still a chance she could actually get off on that. Like, but the problem is, you should have known that that wasn't your place because, A, the red carpet that you never had in front of your apartment, ever.
Right.
She said she shot twice. Once that missed and once that hadn't even... Something like that. Why is it that they always... Alright, so, okay, you can't de-escalate a situation. Why is the next thing that they teach them how to shoot to kill? Like, why not shoot to disarm? Shoot somebody in the leg or something. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Why is it that every single shot is always, oh, you shot twice?
But you can use that argument as they're trained, right? They're trained with guns. So why does she choose to shoot in the chest area? Unless she can sit here and say, oh, that's just where the bullet went. I thought you were trained to, be able to target.
So now what you're telling me is that you didn't reasonably assess the situation because
but shooting
you're going
to
in
disarm
guns blazing.
to me, is a very good solution to de-escalation. You know what I mean? As opposed to just shooting and killing. If you really had to, yeah. If you shoot somebody and you're able to disarm them, you're able to de-escalate the situation from that point on. That's why something in me just be telling me, do these people, do these white people who be killing these black people, do they just want to kill these black people anyway and are ready to deal with the consequences? Because some people are ready to die for their cause. And are they so deep within this hatred that they're ready to die for their cause? F our cause. You know what I mean? If they gotta die because they want us dead.
I feel like there's also an extreme factor of self-preservation that factors into it. Because
but you know what? They're fearful of a lot of things, though.
Yes.
So when they say, oh, I was scared, I truly believe that. I mean, I believe that in those circumstances, not even just with them, but with everybody. You walk into a certain situation, you walk into your house, you see something, you may be scared. You may be paranoid. Or you know what I mean? And all the circumstances can be different. But I believe they're just scared. They're scared of cats. They're scared of everything. Scared of everything. You know what I mean? So scared sometimes that You know, if things aren't going my way in my life, you know, I'm ready to shoot you, then shoot myself. I'm ready to shoot the school up, then kill myself afterwards. That don't really resolve anything. That's another problem. I mean, we could sit here and say, oh, well, it's not everybody, it's not all. No, it's not. But do you notice that? You know, in situations like school shootings, when it, you know, it tends to be a white boy going into school to shoot, you know, not always, not 100% of them, but most of them, shooting his classmates. You know, why is it that sometimes they go to extreme ways of trying to resolve things? Or the circumstances and why they killed someone. It's not worth it.
I just don't. I just.
You know, and I have noticed a lot of things in the black community as well, as far as that, you know, my own observations. I feel like, you know, we do kill each other a lot. I feel like a lot of our situations are drugs, gang activity.
I feel like all the things that are results of systemic, like, oppression, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Just, okay, you get into drugs because you feel low. Like, you know what I'm saying? You get into gangs because you want to be loved. Like,
but I feel like it's easier for us as black people to speak on issues in the black community as opposed to speaking on issues outside the community. I mean, we can go based on what we see, what we experience, what we know. You know, that's why I try not to make assumptions about either one. But, you know, I try not to say, oh, all white people kill because of this. Because I don't know that. You know what I mean?
I hope it's not a play on us to try to get us to really polarize ourselves away from society by having all these killers be white. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Now we all looking at it like, oh, well, fuck white people. And it's just now... it really is a reason for a divide. You know what I'm saying?
It's creating this race war.
You gotta watch out. No?
Everything. I mean, if you think about it, every issue seems to come back down to race, whether it be interracial dating or
think about
police
it,
brutality,
what wars,
school shootings. Everything seems to come right back down to race.
I don't know what's this all leading up to. Like, is it gonna be some like super world war or some shit like that? I ain't got the time. Just tell me where it's safe at. Like,
we just gotta start figuring out what. First we need to sit down and acknowledge things. You know, acceptance is the first thing. You gotta acknowledge you have white privilege. We gotta acknowledge what we gotta acknowledge. You know what I mean? And you start there. But beyond that, it's so hard for me to see solutions to it because it seems like whenever you give a solution, it becomes an issue. Forgiveness. Oh no, you can't forgive because there was no justice. You know what I mean? So it's like, damn, now we're in this battle between forgiveness and a cause. You know, and when forgiving goes against that cause, now we all saying here like, well, forgiveness is good, but it's not good to forgive in this case. So that's why I just felt it was important to talk about this.
Forgiveness could still require punishment. That's the thing about forgiveness. It's not always just, okay, you're absolved from all punishment. No. Sometimes you still got to take that ass whooping just to complete the aspect of forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? Like, because man, people are lucky that there's even a system that does this type of stuff, because back in the day, it was eye for an eye. Like, you kill somebody, you die. Like, it was very simple back in the day. There wasn't all this like trials and bonds and courts and
right. And it
judges
does seem like,
and
however, when people die, it's always somebody is looking for a bigger group to blame it on. Like, this is the reason, or all whites are the reason, or all blacks are. You know, it's like, no, everything is so circumstantial, and so it's such a special case to me. Everything is not. Yeah, some things do boil back down to race, because there is racism. It exists. It's here. It's alive, it's well and alive, you know. But white privilege is a huge thing. But conversations. Yeah. What y'all think? What you think?
because at some point you do have to forgive. Not for any other, but for yourself. Good morning, good afternoon, and good day.